We will now be taking a look at the hospital. As I've already brought up, the hospital is only seen in one chapter in Outlast Whistleblower, and that, of course, is the hospital chapter. And so, yeah, the purpose of the hospital is it's basically a hospital. Like a general hospital that would specialize in treating diseases or where you can get surgeries and stuff like that done. So, unlike the other sections of Mount Massive, which really deal with treating mental disorders, the hospital is just meant more for just general health. Yeah. So, basically, like any other diseases, any infectious diseases, or any kind of physical injuries and stuff like that. That is pretty much what the hospital is here for. But anyways, yeah, talking more about the actual structure, one thing you're going to notice is it's a little bit hard to see just because of all the fog here, but I will try my best here, is that the hospital is actually only, has two main levels, plus the attic space, which, you can consider it as the third floor, but two main levels, unlike the three that we've seen a lot throughout so far, which, of course, they all have three, hospital only has two. Which is kind of a bit funny. Kind of reminds me of back when I was still making the map. I thought the hospital was 3 floors just because of how tall the chimney was, and also the exterior staircase. So I thought it was 3 levels, but it's actually only 2. But yeah, what's also kind of unusual about it is it's not symmetrical. So you kind of have this main area here, and then kind of just a wing branching off. And even then, the main area isn't very symmetrical at all. So only kind of towards the back is a little bit more symmetrical, as you will see. So, but it's not symmetrical. Which kind of gets me into my next point here. Kind of the shape of the sides and the back and the very back here. You will notice that if you look very closely, it does bear some resemblance to the wards and the prison block. So it's got these two areas that stick out at this middle portion here. You have these windows that stick out here, and the corners also stick out, as you can see. And then you have more of these windows that stick out. Every third window sticks out. And then this corner also sticks out, and then this also has more of what you see on the left-hand side. So it's very similar to what you see with the wards in the prison block. So even though the hospital looks very different in design, it's really not. There is a lot of stuff it does share in common. And of course, it also does have sandstone for its exterior as well, and the gray shingles. So if you look closely, it does have some stuff in common, at least with other areas. And the last thing that's also kind of weird about it is it's not connected to anything. So there's no hallways connecting it to other sections. It's just basically kind of its own kind of standalone structure. So that means in order to access it, you actually have to go through the recreation area, which is an exterior section. So it's a little bit odd there. There's nothing connecting it to the rest of the complex. I guess that's just because it's just supposed to be just a general hospital, so it's a little bit more isolated. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, there's some antennas on the roof here, so you kind of see that in other areas of Whistleblower. Got these dormers here. Yep. And also this chimney, that's for the crematorium. We're going to take a better look at that later, but that's just basically to ventilate and remove smoke from the furnaces in the crematorium, so that's what it's there for. Kind of a unusual structure to see in a building like this. So yeah, over here, you got just kind of the roof structure. It's very flat right over here. But this is kind of what the roof is shaped like, in case you're curious. So not the whole roof is modeled, but it's just enough that you can kind of get an idea of what it would be like. And also for the exterior, yeah, again, it's hard to see this front section, but you can see some balconies here. So again, like the area right across from us, towards the female ward side, there are these balconies. And yeah, there's really no way of actually getting onto them except for one of them, which actually does have a door here. Well, actually a couple of doors. So again, we'll take a better look at that later. And so yeah, there's 3 main entrances into the actual hospital. So you have kind of this, I consider it to be a main entrance. So it leads into kind of the reception room. There's also an exterior staircase, which is pretty unusual. We don't really see exterior staircases. Made even more unusual by the fact that the actual entrance to this area is on the 2nd floor. So you don't really see, like, entrances on the upper floors. Really, the only thing, the most similar thing we've seen to this so far is in the prison block, where there's, on the recreation area side, there are actual entrances on the upper floors. So again, it's just kind of a little bit rare to see. And the last entrance, the 3rd entrance, is actually towards that wing, so where the crematorium is. It leads into kind of this smaller kind of chapel area. I don't really know what to call it. It's just basically like a chapel area, except it's a lot smaller, and it's not like really laid out like a chapel for the most part. So like the one we saw in the administration block, this is a little bit less, I don't know, like formal. So it's just really here to serve the crematorium. But again, we're going to take a better look at that later. So, yeah, it's time to head inside now. We've basically looked at what I really wanted to look at. So, again, there's nothing really too interesting outside of that. So, just to give you a better look at how this all looks. Again, the hospital is pretty raised here, so you have stairs here and everything. And again, the main floor is a little bit taller than the 2nd floor, so you got that going on as well. And so yeah, this is the main entrance to the hospital, kind of this reception area, not unlike what we've seen in the kind of the male ward. So you do have an office to the side here, except just to one side. You just get a reception kind of desk here to the right-hand side, which does remind me a bit of the one in the administration block lobby. And we have nitrogen tanks, I think these are. Boron solutions, alright. Yeah, not really sure what that is. But yeah, office here. As you can see, a lot of wood here as well. You're not going to see that throughout the entire building, but just in certain sections. Especially like this front area. And yeah, so as for the actual like style of the hospital, yeah, does have kind of this, that's not really the best flooring, let's see, it does kind of have this linoleum flooring, if I can find it, somewhere, which kind of brings me to my next point, right here. So this is the flooring you're going to see a lot throughout, and this wallpaper, which is kind of like this, like mint green kind of this white in the middle here. And just a bare ceiling. So you're going to see this a lot throughout. So if you see this, this is original, and that linoleum flooring. But you can see that the hospital is going to have a lot of these like plastic wrapped corridors, and a lot of areas are actually also show signs of being remodeled as well. And even with the decontamination chambers. So be ready for that. But yeah, so lobby, going back here, let's finish this up. So you do have a staircase here. It's a little bit hard to see because it's dark, but it's one of those U-shaped staircases, not unlike the ones we've seen in the wards. So there's 2 main staircases, and there's also one towards, a little bit more back towards the back to the right-hand side. But there is also one part that it seems like some people overlook, and that is there actually is an elevator. So there is an elevator, it's just not part of any staircase like we've seen a lot throughout the rest of the building so far. It's actually just its own thing. So it's not like the staircase wraps around the elevator. It's just here by itself. And of course, you never do actually use the elevator either. So that's kind of why it tends to be a bit forgotten. But yeah, there is an elevator serving the 2 floors. Also, get off at the 2nd floor here. Yeah. Of course, elevator shaft here. Does go up to the 3rd floor, but really there would be not. There really wouldn't be anything up here. So yeah, a lot of these, I think like metal flooring here. Yeah, and just a lot of these plastic wrapped corridors. So, which is of course not original. This really only would have come about when Murkoff reopened the Asylum. But if you look closely, you'll see signs of the original building underneath. And yeah, a lot of these like pipes here. Also got fire extinguishers. Again, the decontamination chambers. There are a few of those. So yeah, going on through here, we have a decontamination chamber again. So that means, in some cases, there is the adjoining security room. So it looks pretty modern. Very similar to the ones we saw in the prison block. So again, basically your standard security office. And this is just kind of a hallway that wraps around this area. So you leave and then it kind of just circles back. So again, you do see the signs of the original building underneath. So yeah, even got the radiators, although it's kind of like it's in its own little area. So these plastic like corridors almost make like their own like rooms pretty much. And there's not really much going on here. All there really is just the one restroom. So it's like one of the smaller restrooms with just a toilet and a sink. It's kind of similar to the ones in the administration block. It's just that this one looks to be a little bit larger. And it's even got like the same like wall decorations. So just tile and the very, very small tiles there. And yeah, so a lot of these like wires here, yeah, more pipes. And you can see that the plastic corridors are also a little bit, the ceiling height is low than what the actual height is for the rooms, for these hallways. So there's like a space you can, like actually, you can walk on top of these through like one of the door hopping glitch. So I've seen people actually skip parts of the game using this method. So yeah, more corridors, and yeah, so we have more rooms here. I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be. It's probably an office, I would guess. Does show signs of being an office. You have some desks, filing cabinets, a bookshelf, so probably some kind of office here. It's pretty spacious too. It would be a lot bigger if it weren't for this storage room here. I'm guessing this is some storage room. So it does contain a vent. This is actually one of the vents Waylon goes through. So yeah, storage room. It's hard to see, but it is just the same as this. So this flooring and wallpaper, again, you're going to see this a lot throughout. And so yeah, hallways, and yeah, so like all of these areas are pretty much like connected for the most part. So like there's just doors connecting all of them. It's actually very interesting to see just how well connected all of this is. You don't really appreciate that when you go through the game, but when you have mods installed, you can actually get a better appreciation for how this is all laid out. Before we go through those areas, I think I'm actually going to go through this area first, just because this eventually leads to a dead end. But as for these areas, they actually just go all the way to the other side. So I think I'm going to get this out of the way first. But right over here, I think these are like rooms for patients. There are some that are right above us. There's an entire like section of rooms for patients. So I'm guessing that these 3 rooms are also meant for patients. So they all look the same. There's no furniture except for like a gurney. So very bare room. Again, got the standard hospital colors here. And there's also kind of this mystery room here. Yeah, so this area is also very easy to overlook. In fact, I almost kind of overlooked it myself. It's kind of where the hallway kind of branches off a bit into its own little area. And it contains a door that really doesn't go anywhere. So it's unknown as to what this is. This right here is the exterior wall. Right over here. So not really sure what that's supposed to be. So you can kind of just leave that to your imagination. Yeah, more fire extinguishers. More of these plastic wrapped corridors. So yeah, like I said, we got the 3 rooms there. This kind of wraps around. You have another hallway. And right over here, you can actually look into this room. So, this right here is like one of the surgery rooms. There's 2 surgery rooms. This is one of them. And so, yeah, again, this is where you got your operating table. Got some sinks here, of course. Shelves. But what's also very interesting is you will notice it does have what seems to be an operating theater. So basically, this is something that was much more common back in the day. You don't really see this nowadays, as far as I'm aware, but you do have an actual operating theater. So you do have actual seats that are laid out on like these, like concrete slabs, pretty much. So it's not really the way you would think of like an operating theater, where it's usually like behind like windows. It's just in the same room, pretty much, which is pretty unusual. So I haven't really seen something like this before. But yeah, this room is very interesting because you can see that it doesn't really have a wall here, so it's just open to this area back here, these hallways. So I always just found that very interesting. And yeah, so ventilation ducts, fire suppression system, and the original pipes, water pipes here. So yeah, I can tell this is all original. Going on, kind of back here, we do have a restroom here. So it's very similar to the restrooms we've seen a lot throughout so far. 3 stalls. I think there's, it's just sinks, and then urinals. The only difference really is how it's decorated. It's got wood flooring and not tile like we've seen in other areas. And it's also a lot more bare than other areas. So, but again, it's just a restroom. It's not supposed to look very nice or anything. So yeah, this is the very end of the hallway, and it leads into a restricted area. This is actually the very beginning of Outlast Whistleblower. So this is where Waylon is locked up, and you've got the 3 rooms with the television screens, and this is where Waylon is forced to watch before he's after he had been submitted to the morphogenic engine program. And yeah, so I've got some controls here. This actually opens the doors into these rooms. And yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to really say about this area. So originally this would have just been one big room, but it's been split off into different, a few different areas. So again, you will see the original room as to how it would have looked like. And yeah, so this is all at the very back here. You can see that this restroom right here, as well as the other one across from it, they actually kind of extend outwards of what is supposed to be the exterior structure here. So a little bit odd there. I guess they just didn't have room for it. But anyways, yeah, that kind of concludes that area. Right over here, yeah, this will lead us all the way to the other side. And you can see that there are 2 hallways here that basically just go all the way towards the end here. So you have like kind of these two main hallways, and then of course in the middle are just rooms. So yeah, again, we're back in this office here. So going on here, continuing the tour, you kind of have this just smaller room with, I think it has like a medicine cabinet. It's also got a sink here, just like storage pretty much. So yeah, very basic room, and it does have that ventilation shaft that Wayland goes through. Of course, that eventually, okay, yeah, I totally screwed that up. So it goes here, it goes right above the office, and then into that storage room. And we have, yeah, more paintings of the asylum. And, yeah, radiators, clock. So, again, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just a single incandescent light bulb here, unlike the fluorescent lights in the other room. And so, yeah, this is actually right behind the elevator. So that's where this is. That's why this room is a little bit smaller, just because the elevator takes up some of the space. Right over here, this room has a desk in it, so kind of this desk here. Maybe like a pharmacy of some sort. So, you know, you come into this room and you ask for medicine. Of course, the medicine would be stored in here, I think. So that's what I think this is. So unless it's some type of other reception area, I'm not really sure. So just another kind of larger room here. Again, you have more paintings of some of the former Asylum staff members. And so yeah, just the one door on this side here and this hallway. There's also a door here that doesn't really go anywhere. Just this other room it's not really modeled. And of course back into this area. And again, these rooms do have doors leading back into this main hallway. And the surgery room that I talked about also has, it has two doors leading into it, so that's another way to access the surgery room. So yeah, surgery, in case you have any doubts, that's a surgery room. So yeah, archways here, more radiators. So yeah, again, this gives us a look of what the hospital would have looked like originally. It's not doing so good, it's not in the best of condition, as is most of the building. And we have more of these doors here, so like the doors with the glass panels surrounding them. You are going to see this as well. It kind of divides this into two areas. So we have the surgery room, the doors leading into the surgery room. So yeah, more portraits here. Another door here. And of course, you can't go past this point. And in fact, you can't go into this area in the main game. You can go here and here, but you can't go into this little area. It's just part of the main hallway. So yeah, more fluorescent lights, more ventilation ducts. And yeah, there's no doors here since this is the starting point to Whistleblower. And so yeah, that goes into this room. We have some unknown room here. It's not exactly known what this is supposed to be, but there would be another room here, which can also be accessed through another door here. And this right here is going to be the radiology department. So for like taking X-rays, this is where this is. So you got this room here, some type of office from the looks of it. So, you know, desk, some shelves here. I think this is actually where the X-rays the actual X-rays would be taken. Yeah. It's like, I think these are like old-fashioned X-ray machines. So you have a door here that can be accessed from this main area. So like, I guess this would be like the main corridor since it's just off of the main entrance. So yeah, and this is all connected. Yeah, you have more X-rays. You have a door here, and then again that door. Okay, and there's also like this glass window here, and it looks into like another patient room. So this one is interesting because it's almost kind of split into two different areas. It just has an opening. But you do have some beds here. So this would have just been another area for patients. Some bedside tables. A sink here with a mirror. More of the hospital wallpaper and flooring here that we've seen. And yeah, it just looks a lot like the other rooms we've seen thus far. And this area can also be accessed from the main hallway here. And there's also a door at the other end that leads into very close to this other hallway. But you also have a hallway that runs perpendicular and connects the two kind of main hallways here. So again, it's pretty elaborate. It's almost like a maze here if you don't know where you're going. You have like a four-way intersection here, and this connects back with the this hallway here. Over here, you have more patient rooms. These are very hard to see, but it's a lot like the rooms we've seen just now. So they aren't connected, but they do have this window between them. Yeah. And they each have two doors. So on this side, and then there's also two on the other side. And they both lead into kind of like a file room. It's just got a lot of shelves here. Could also be like maybe a library, but these look more like files to me. So just like patient files. There's also some desks here. So I'm guessing it just holds all of the files for the patients that are staying here in the hospital. And this is right actually on the other side of the starting point for Whistleblower. So this is kind of more towards the back here. You have another door here that leads into this hallway here. A little bit of lag. And yeah, you can see more of these plastic wrapped corridors and more of these like metal walls. These are an afterthought. So they have like these glass doors here. So it kind of closes off these areas a little bit more than they normally would be. But yeah, this is where the main hallway comes to an end, since this leads to the kitchen. So that's how that ends. There's also a door right over here. Again, you have an unknown room here that would be towards the front here. So the front of the hospital. And yeah, this connects, like I've said, back with this hallway. And then you just got the locker room. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this hallway. And then right over here, I guess we'll do the kitchen cafeteria. So you do actually have a kitchen and cafeteria area. I'm guessing this is for the staff. So I imagine the patients would just eat in their rooms. But yeah, it's actually kind of elaborate. I mean, not only do you have like this kitchen area, you also do have like a meat locker. It's like a storage room here, kind of pantry area, and then also kind of a separate room for the stoves. And this is kind of the main prepping area. So again, racks here for hanging up pots and pans, and just like a little prep area of sinks. And this also has a little serving area, since this overlooks the cafeteria. So again, you can see it does show signs of being remodeled. So it does look a lot more modern in other areas. It's got these very large, like, panels here, and just the metal flooring. So again, this is all connected pretty much, so you just have a lot of doors just leading into basically every room is connected to each other. So it makes it a lot easier to access. More of these metal doors here, not wood, like we've seen. And you just have this cafeteria area. So I have a couple of pillars here. Got the basically just standard table arrangement that you see in cafeterias. And you even got a couple of vending machines. So yeah, that kind of leads me to believe this is like for staff, and also a lot of these corpses here, they look like they belong to staff members. There's also a door over here, and this kind of leads you towards the left-hand side. And yeah, and this leads back to the main hallway here. So yeah, right over here is like a locker room. Again, I believe this is for staff. So it's a little bit dark to see, but I'll try to kind of show it and describe it the best way I can. So it's a lot like the one we saw in the male ward. So you got lockers on one side, and also like, I think there were like sinks here. Yeah. And I think like urinals. Yeah. So it's a very large room, but it has like the half wall in the center. That's basically all it is. So it's not too interesting. So yeah, wood flooring here. It's pretty bare. But just another locker room. Yeah, a door here at the one end, so there's two doors leading into it. They kind of lead into this little separate area where there's like a wall on each side. And then you have the main area. And yeah, so now we're kind of heading more towards that wing. The wing that leads to the crematorium. So another hallway here. Pretty bare. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory, I think. So it's pretty basic here. So yeah, here's the entrance to the crematorium. So you can see it's you got more of this brick going on than just the standard hospital wallpaper we've seen a lot throughout so far. So more of that linoleum flooring. Another door here. There's also one adjacent to it. And this just leads down a couple of hallways. Basically just one hallway that angles at a 90-degree turn. But it's not completely finished since it kind of cuts off a bit ways down a little bit past this point, because you're not really supposed to be in this area. Although you can actually access this outside of mods, since I did it once on the Xbox version, I think it was. So if you're quick enough, this is an area that Frank Manera goes into. So if you hop past this point very, very quickly, you can actually get in here. Or actually, no, wait, I think it was... There's a glitch where, like, for some reason this door is open or despawns. For whatever reason. And so you can actually go into this area. Although if you go too far, you'll end up falling into the void. And yeah, so it's not really known what's back here, since the doors that are here, they don't really have anything behind them. So kind of left up to your imagination. So there's the one door here, and then there's two doors over here, although there's not any doors modeled. It's just openings. And so yeah, again, it's unknown what's supposed to be here. I'm guessing this is probably a room here that just has two doors leading into it. But it does seem like this area would connect with this hallway here that's in the crematorium. So a bit more on that later. But yeah, you have this hallway here, and this actually just ends up linking up with this hallway over here. So this is all connected pretty much. And really the only thing of note here in this area is this is where the second staircase is. So I did mention the second staircase, this is where it is. It's very similar to the other one, except the way the doors are laid out is different, because the doors are at like the sides, instead of them being like right over here. So it does remind you a lot of the staircases in the wards. It's just the doors are laid out differently. And of course there's no windows. This is a completely interior staircase. It just has the hallway that kind of wraps around it. So yeah, more of these openings. And like I said, this just links up with the other area. There is what seems to be an office right over here. So you have desks here. And this is one of those areas where you have like the window in the center that kind of juts out a bit. So yeah, a lot of glass panels here. So very reminiscent of an office. So just kind of more evidence that this is supposed to be some kind of office here. So yeah, fluorescent lights here. More of that fire suppression system. And more of these, the standard hospital wallpaper here and flooring. This is where that door goes to, the one for the cafeteria. Another archway here. And this is also where you're going to find the other surgery room. So it's very similar to the one we saw in the on the other side. So again, kind of got the operating theater, but 2 operating tables instead of 1. It's also exposed at the back, but it also does have these 2 doors here, and this leads into kind of the surgery office. That's what I think this is. So yeah, a lot of offices, and this has a window here. So we're kind of at the corner, kind of one of the corners of the hospital here. So again, just pretty self-explanatory, I think. Just, you can see parts of the original wallpaper, although there are some clear, just modernizations pretty much. Just stuff that's not original. Like, of course, these television screens, and some of this, equipment here looks very modern. And yeah, a couple of lockers. And there's also a door back here. You have another hallway, and this just kind of connects with these areas here. So again, another kind of 90-degree turn. We have another restroom here. Yeah, this is the restroom I was talking about earlier. It's very similar to the one we saw earlier. So 3 stalls. I think it was 3 urinals. Got that rule of 3. Also sinks, of course. So again, pretty self-explanatory, I think. Again, it kind of juts out from the rest of the building here. And yeah, so this is the very, probably the furthest point out here in this area. So this sticks out pretty far from the rest of the building. Or very far out here. Past this point, it's just wilderness. So yeah, kind of that right-hand side of the hospital now. And so that's going to be it for kind of this main area of the hospital. We're now going to take a look at that crematorium. So again, this is the crematorium. So yeah, wood flooring and brick here. And so yeah, this is all pretty much original here. There's really no any type of modernizations. It's basically all original from what I see here. And also one interesting note, feature about the crematorium is you can see it is kind of on a split level. So like how the administration block was on a split level, the back of it at least, where you have the chapel, recreation hall. This is also on kind of a split level here as well. So the main floor here, it's not on the same floor as the main level in the rest of the building. And so yeah, this is kind of the main area of the crematorium, although it's kind of broken up into smaller areas here, kind of closed off by these chain link fences here. Very similar to the ones we saw in outdoor spaces, so like the courtyard, recreation area. So these doors here. So yeah, brick and then just concrete flooring. Here are your furnaces in this area. So again, I don't think I really need to explain what a crematorium is. Basically have these 5 furnaces for disposing of bodies here. And on top of them are these basically chimneys here, and they all connect into this one just massive chimneys here. I guess really chimneys isn't the right word, it's just like these smokestacks. So just like these pipes, funnels, and they exhaust all of the ashes and just smoke from the furnaces out through this chimney here. And of course, this is the chimney that Wayland ends up sort of climbing right after the crematorium area. So this is all now the exterior. Again, pretty high up, and this chimney is pretty substantial. It's pretty big. So yeah, those are the furnaces, and yeah, there's a few ways of actually accessing this. So a couple of doors here. There's also one at the, I guess, the back. Oh, this is actually the front of the hospital, technically. And you do have this hallway that does look like it connects with this one here, although there would almost certainly be stairs, and there would also be another, like, wall, because it would be a bit weird just to have, like, the brick wall and then just this wallpaper right next to each other. There would probably be, like, another separation, I imagine. So probably something like this. And yeah. Back here is just more storage rooms. There's really not much to these. These actually have like a very similar style to like some of the rooms in the mail ward basement. So it's like the white tile, and then like these like mint green kind of top here. So there's a few of these. There's also this one over here. So just more storage rooms. So there's one over there, there's the other one over here. And this one is kind of like broken up into like different areas here. So it's got like the chain link fences here. But right over here, there actually is a morgue. So I did talk about this in the mail ward section, in the basement specifically. There was a morgue. I did say there were two morgues. This is where the second morgue is located. It's in the crematorium of the hospital. And it looks very similar to the one we saw in the actual basement mail ward. So again, got the white tile, kind of the mint green here. So again, got your operating table in the center with these the cabinets for storing bodies here. And yes, some sinks here. And yeah, so this is right outside of this area here. So this wing of the hospital again. So yeah, more of these areas that are just kind of closed off. So this eventually just links back up with the main area. And then this leads to the entrance of the crematorium. Right over here is that smaller chapel I was talking about. So again, it does contain an entrance here. One of the entrances to the hospital. And yeah, it's pretty basic. I mean, unlike other chapels, just single story, bare white tile, bare ceiling. Very simple tile here for the floor. With kind of these like these brick sections that kind of jut out. So yeah, altar at the end with some seats. Got some paintings of one of the priests. Almost certainly the priest that's talked about in this document here, and the one that would probably be stationed here. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the crematorium. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory, I think. So again, pretty large room. It's got pillars, of course. A lot of exposed pipes and ventilation ducts. So pretty kind of industrial kind of looking room here. And so just kind of give you an overview of what this looks like. So it's very close to to the female ward, very close proximity to the actual one of the corners of the female ward here. So again, it's kind of interesting to see how close some of these areas are. It seems like you're in a totally different spot, but you're not very far here from other areas. Yeah, so there's that morgue. Okay, so this is, I think, going to wrap it up for the crematorium, and also the first floor as a whole. And so now it's time to look at the second floor here, so I guess we'll just go back to the main staircase here. So again, you kind of got a U-shaped staircase, which means it's got a landing, and then a second landing for the upper floor here. So again, pretty similar to what we've seen with the wards. And so this is kind of this main entrance area. So right above this one. It does look pretty similar. It's got like this area off to the side. Kind of an office pretty much. Although this office is a bit unusual because the only way to actually access it is through a balcony. So there's this hospital ward here, and it has a door that leads to this balcony, and then this door leads into the office. The only reason Wayland is even able to access this room is because the one section has been smashed in. So a little bit weird there. But yeah. More of these plastic wrapped corridors. This is really all one big area, pretty much. So with the exception of this is all supposed to be open. It just looks a lot more smaller than it is because of all it's been broken up into just these different areas. Another decontamination chamber. This one is smaller than the other ones, so it's about like roughly half the size. So just pretty interesting here. And this actually does connect to this that exterior staircase. So kind of this U-shaped staircase, although it has more than 2 tiers of steps. So it's got 3 here, and also a 4th that kind of branches off and goes to the ground here. Alright, so yeah, more wood here. But then you do have the linoleum flooring here. And so at the very end is the elevator. So this is where the elevator stops. It's basically just this main area. So yeah, exit signs, clearly a modern addition. Got the balcony. So I guess we'll just do it the same way I did before and just kind of work counterclockwise. And so yeah, branching off the main area, you do have kind of this other office, I'm guessing, so just a single desk here. It's very similar to those offices you see in the main entrance to the male ward. So even got the wood ceiling tiles. And the one door here, although it's in a different spot. Again, you do have this other larger office. More paintings, more woodwork. So this area looks a little bit nicer, since this is kind of more for the staff working quarters. Unlike this nurse's station here, which is in just a standard hospital scheme here. But yeah, I do have a nurse's station, which is accessed by this adjacent hallway here through a door with those glass panels. So yeah, single wood door here. There's also one on the other side here. Got a window, so just this glass window here. And of course we have like the call station here. I don't really know what it's called, but basically every hospital room has a button, and when the patient presses a button, it lights up a basically a red dot here that corresponds with the room number. So if the patient has some kind of need, the nurse knows which room to go to, pretty much. So these are all of the hospital rooms that are in the hospital, at least in this hospital ward on the second floor, the ones that have actual room numbers. And so yeah, there's 15 rooms in total, and so we'll be taking a look at those very, very soon, actually. So yeah, nurse's station here, kind of got a this counter here that kind of almost splits into 2 rooms here. So this area can be accessed from basically just going down this hallway. So eventually you have a smaller room here, which sets you up for a jump scare in the nurse's station. There's also a door here, and this leads to closer to the actual hospital ward. Going down this area, we have a new kind of paint scheme here. So it's there's a yellow dado instead of green, and also instead of it being green, it's also gray at the top. And so yeah, again, this leads you back to this the same hallway here. Yeah, nurse's station, and this links up back with the main area. And so yeah, there's not a whole lot going on here really. It's just more hallways. And there's also another hallway here. That's part of the hospital ward. But yeah, speaking of the hospital ward, here it is. We're going to start at this end first. And so yeah, again, got more of that yellow dado here. And so yeah, this is your standard hospital ward here. So basically just this hallway here that kind of makes a 90-degree turn, and there's also a separate area over here. And so yeah, it's pretty large. A lot of hospital rooms here. And of course, this is also where the balcony can be accessed. So basically just a way for the patients that are staying here to get some fresh air. And there's also a restroom here, a very small restroom with just a toilet and a sink. So it seems like most of the patients do have to share this, although a couple of the hospital rooms do get their own bathrooms. Basically only the ones at the one corner. So we're going to see that very soon. So yeah, starting off these rooms, we have E225. It's one of the smaller rooms, and it also doesn't have a window. And yeah, these hospital rooms are pretty bare. So yeah, very bare rooms. So yeah, they all look the same, so wood flooring and just very bare rooms, pretty much. Just nothing to it in terms of the wall coverings and ceiling. But they do get some ventilation ducts here, so you can count on the room being well ventilated. And so yeah, just a single bed with a nightstand. And some of these rooms do have a sink, at the very least. But not all of them, I don't think. Right next to it is E227, and again, you do see this light, this red light here, and that's again for a nurse's station, pretty much. So when it lights up, like it does in the game, like the one room, E237, you know which room to go to. So yeah, this room is a similar size to the other one. It's a little bit larger though, and it does get a window. Some curtains as well for privacy. So yeah, again, this ventilation duct basically just keeps going and going through all of the rooms on this side. So again, wood flooring. So yeah, again, I'm not going to spend too much time going over the actual like structured rooms because they are very similar. So just wood flooring and just very bare rooms. So yeah. E229. This one is one of the larger ones. This one can actually hold 2 people. It has 2 beds. And it also has 2 windows as well. One of which is the one that kind of sticks out here. So yeah, it's very dark. I apologize for that. But here you can actually get an idea of what it looks like. So if you see a gap, this is where there's a wall dividing them. And so yeah, and this room kind of sticks out as well, you can see, since it's part of that corner there. So yeah, the double hospital room here, so yeah, there's 2 doors as a result. Although, for some reason, it's got the thing again where it leads to the same room, but the doors have different room numbers. So it's E229 and E231. Right over here is E233. And yeah, another room with a window. It's a smaller one. And a lot of rooms in this area look basically identical. So it's basically just copy and paste at this point. And with a few rare exceptions. So again, single bed, single occupant room here. Same for this room, except it doesn't have a window here, since it's an interior room, so E234. And you'll probably notice that the odd numbered rooms are on the exterior side, and on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, towards the interior, are even numbers. And so yeah, E235, again, single occupant, got a window. So just basic rooms here. Across from it is E236, another single occupant room. E237. This one is, this was also single occupant, but it's a little bit larger. It's also where the window sticks out. So this room is a bit larger. Actually, I think it is the same size. Yeah. So let's see, I'm getting a little bit lost here. It's a little bit dark to see. Okay, so 235, single occupant, E236, single occupant. Okay, so that one we just saw. Okay, so 237, single occupant, E238. God, I'm having so much trouble reading these room numbers. Single occupant. And then, okay, here we go. So this was E239, and this was one of the larger rooms. 2 beds, although just a single window. And this forms part of that corner, so it kind of sticks out a bit here. So yeah, just a lot of the, basically, again, your standard room here. With the exception of the fact that it does have its own bathroom here, own sink and toilet, and also bathtub as well. So also gets a window as well. But besides, it's outside of that, it's very basic bathroom here. There's no decoration to it whatsoever, no details or anything. Same for this room, so E241. And also I'm not sure why I'm reading the room numbers like that, by just each number instead of like E241. But anyways, yeah, another larger room here, 2 beds, but just the 1 window. But it also does get its own bathroom. Again, very basic bathroom, just sink, toilet, bathtub, single window here. So this is now towards the back of the hospital. Ventilation grill here, so there's no ventilation ducts. It's actually, the ventilation duct just terminates right here, so it takes up less space here. And yeah, so this is part of that, this is where the hallway turns, and how it kind of goes in a different direction. So let's see, let's make sure I didn't miss any rooms. I think I covered all of them, so yeah. E238. So again, just single occupant interior room. Same for E240 here. Just again, it's hard to see, but it's just a lot of these rooms here. Just the ones we've seen throughout. E242 here, another interior, single occupant. E243, single occupant, exterior room with a window. And some of these did have sinks though, so not all of them. Okay, so yeah, E242. E245 is another larger room with 2 beds and 2 windows, and also an exterior room, as you can see. This one actually does have its own sink, even with a little mirror as well. So yeah, nightstands, which do have the actual buttons for alerting the nurse's office, nurse's station. Right across from it is E244, another interior room for a single occupant. And again, you do have that yellow dado here, got more of that linoleum, kind of like green linoleum floor. Got some paintings here, and of course some crosses here, which is some of the only decoration you really have here. So yeah, more ventilation ducts, fluorescent lights. So yeah, again, this is all original. And this is where the hospital section of the hospital ward comes to an end, at least for this area. There is a separate area over here that has more rooms. It's just closed off behind a door, and another one on the other end. So yeah, this is going to be a bit difficult to get through just because of how dark it is, but I'll try my best. So yeah, again, these are just more of the same rooms we've seen. So we have E222. So single occupant interior room. And yeah, very hard to see here, but I'll try my best. Let's see, where do we end up? Oh, so yeah, so this area right here, the other end, is located right across from the nurse's station. So this hallway right here, oh wow, I'm getting mixed up here. So this hallway right here, if you just keep going straight, this is where that leads to. The hallway is almost like a perfect straight, except it's kind of got this, it kind of branches off in the middle here. So it kind of like angles at a 90-degree turn, and then it makes another 90-degree turn. Yeah, this is going to be really difficult to get through. Okay, so I just have to stick close to the walls. So again, there you can see it kind of angles there. And then you have E224, single occupant interior room. I think that's actually the only rooms that were here. Yeah, because then you have 225. So those are the only actual rooms there. It's just the 2 rooms from what I remember. If memory serves me correct. So the room there, and then the other one here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so that wasn't that bad. So again, this area is pretty much closed off. It does have a door leading into this room here, which can also be accessed from the hospital ward. So yeah, you kind of have this like laboratory area, at least for this side, and then this is like a security office on this other section. So it's not even like closed off, it's just open, with just kind of a small kind of retaining wall here. So yeah, again, this looks very modern, so it's definitely it's been renovated. So if you go from this room to just this room, it's just different. So you can definitely tell it's been remodeled. So yeah, basically like a laboratory. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of the one chemistry classroom we had back in high school. So we had like these things here. So yeah, a lot of cabinet space here for storing different types of solutions and stuff like that. Yeah, medications. Just like work tables, work areas. So yeah, again, got those like these white panels here, these very tall, large panels here. And just this simple kind of, I don't know, it's like a concrete floor, I think. So yeah, this goes back to the hospital ward. Security room, not unlike other security rooms we've seen, except it's just laid out a bit differently. It's a little bit more narrow, but you do have your security monitors, which are for some reason monitoring the prison block and not the hospital. You have another door here, yeah, so it's labeled security. Adjacent to it is another decontamination chamber. So again, you have this glass window here. And this leads to the main area. So we've basically gone in a circle now. Yeah, this leads towards the gas room. So this is how Wayland shuts off the gas for the decontamination chambers in the hospital. So yeah, more hallways here. This is pretty open. Although again, you have more of these plastic wrapped corridors. Right over here is a door that leads to some unknown room here. So more of these mystery rooms. It's right behind the lab. And right next to it would be the hospital ward. So yeah, this is now the very back. So this hallway actually just keeps going until this corner over here. So again, got more of the green colors here, kind of this green color that's associated with the hospital. So yeah, more windows, although they don't have curtains. So yeah, more signs directing you towards the gas room. Got fire extinguishers. So again, this is all original, with the exception of some of this stuff over here. Another unknown room, yeah, not even a door, just an opening. So there's supposed to be some kind of room here. And eventually, for where this hallway goes to, it's also unknown. It just terminates, like, right here, very abruptly. Like, it's on, like, an angle and everything. It's so weird. So they just didn't even bother with this, even, like, finishing this room. So this is now the right-hand side of the hospital, close to the gas room. Yeah, ventilation ducts, fire suppression system, more hallways. So right over here is another laboratory. It's a lot bigger than that other one we saw, but it does look similar. So again, how it's decorated, some of the stuff it has, although it has a lot more equipment, including limbs and severed limbs and severed heads inside these like tubes here. And like organs too, like it's very interesting. Not sure what's going on with that, or what Murkoff was up to before the incident. But I mean, yeah, more medications, paperwork, just work areas. Yeah, nanobiotechnology here. Microscope as well. And yeah, so some shelves back here, kind of got a retaining wall. You have kind of this hallway that splits off from the main area here. It doesn't really go anywhere, it's just this area, just this hallway here, which contains 4 rooms here, so just more patient rooms, which do have numbers, but they're for some reason not part of the nurse's station. So, and they also do not start with E, they begin with D as well. So, but these rooms are a lot more similar to the ones we saw on the main floor. So it's got the, the green kind of color scheme, the green linoleum flooring. And so yeah, these are meant for one person. So just a single bed here. And they also have 2 doors leading into them. So there's one on each end. There's the one that goes out into this area where there's a metal door. And there's also a wood door on the other end. That leads back towards the main area in this hallway here. So yeah, 4 rooms like I said. So 2, 3. Actually, I missed one. So 1, 2, 3. And this was 4. Okay, that's just very dark, but there are 4 rooms. So there's a door over there, and one over there. That's basically it for this area. Not really too much to talk about here. And over here is like another office, so this office connects the laboratory to the main hallway here. So 2 doors, also another glass window here. The Walrider project, yep, Project Walrider. So yeah, that goes back to the main hallway. And there's also kind of like the server room here. So just for some of the, this is definitely a server room of some sorts here. It's pretty dark, but it does look a lot like the other areas, the other rooms in this section here. And so yeah, another door here. This kind of just basically links back up with this hallway here. And right over here, this branches off. You have another decontamination chamber, as well as the gas room that I've brought up a couple of times before. But before I explore the gas room, I am going to take a quick drink first, since my throat is acting up. So yeah, we're getting close here, close to getting done with the hospital. So gas room, again, very modern. Definitely been remodeled at some point here. It does look a little bit like one of the security rooms, since it's got like the glass panel and the counter alongside here. Although there's really no security cameras, so it's not a security room. It's just the gas room, pretty much. So this shuts off the gas to the decontamination chambers. And yeah, so yeah, warning signs. Got some computers here. And so yeah, there's a door at the other end, which leads to an unknown area. So it doesn't go anywhere. It's right above the office here that we saw on the main level. So yeah, going down here, down this hallway. We have another room here. It's completely bare, so we have no idea what it was being used for. Probably another office, if I had to guess. So yeah, very bare room in the standard hospital colors here. And this just leads back to the laboratory, so it's all connected. Got a door here, and from this point, this leads you back to the main area, down this very long hallway. It's basically right above the main hallway on the main floor. So going back to this main area, you do have this room here. I'm not sure what this was being used for. There are a bunch of chairs in this corner, and then a bookshelf here. So probably some type of just like some kind of storage room. I'm really not sure. So we have no labels or anything, so not really sure what this is supposed to be. So it can kind of be left up to your imagination. It is a bit nicer looking than some of the other rooms. It does have the woodwork going on, and then just like the green top there. So linoleum flooring. Again, the standard. More radiators, fluorescent lights. So still very much resembles what you would see, expect to find in a room in the hospital. But it does have an adjoining restroom area, so it's one of the larger restrooms with 3 stalls. Of course, one of them is missing a toilet, but you have 3 urinals, 3 sinks. So again, it looks a lot like the other restrooms we've seen in the hospital. Wood flooring. It looks very, very bare. And this is right on the other side of the uh, staircase here. And yeah, this interior staircase is right on the other side of the exterior staircase. So I got this hallway here. So again, more of these rooms. Again, D201. And then this was D203. D205. So yeah, it's odd numbers. And D207 here. And then there's not really a whole lot going on the other side. Just more open space here. And yeah, so just going on along, making our way along to the other side here. You have another door. Again, doesn't really go anywhere. I'm guessing this would just make up one large room, possibly. But yeah, this area just kind of wraps around. It wraps around the staircase, the second staircase here. So this is the upper landing to the staircase. But it also does have this room here. I think this was the library. Yes. So we do have a library here. It's very dark to see, but again, it's not too different from other rooms in the hospital. So bookshelves and decorated like this. So just trust me. But there are a few exam rooms here, one of which is neurology. So this has to do with like the brain and stuff like that. So I'm guessing it's an exam room, or it just contains like stuff related to it. So like files and stuff like that. So you got that. You also have another room here. This was for, what was it? Was it urology, I think? Yes. So that's for like the urinary system, the urinary tract, stuff like that. It's very blue hue coming from the light here. But yeah, again, it's just it's mostly just like shelves here and stuff like that from what I remember. Yeah, so kind of more like an office space. But again, it just deals with those kind of like areas, you know, urology, neurology. I think there may have been one more. I think that was actually it. So again, this area is very dark, but I believe those were the only two that were here. If I did miss one, I'll make sure to add like an annotation later on, but I'm pretty sure I have explored all of the areas in this area. Yeah, then it's just this office here. Yeah, there's not much to it, just another standard office. A lot of offices in the hospital. Again, looks a lot like what you would expect to find in the hospital. So yeah, more doors here, yep. So a couple of doors here and there. Again, this is all original. You can definitely tell based on its age. And then right over here, we'll see that it's now brick past this point, since this is above the crematorium. So again, it's part of that wing on that kind of split level there. So you also have these stairs here. So yeah, now we're back to having the brick here. Yeah, a lot of these exposed pipes. And yeah. So wood flooring here. Kind of reminds me a bit of the some of the back areas in the recreation hall and the administration block. It did look a lot like this. And some steps raised up here. So yeah, this area is a little bit raised up. So this area specifically is on the same level as the rest of the second floor. For some reason, but not that hallway. So yeah, just more hallways, and the weird part is this doesn't really go anywhere. It's a dead end. So it just kind of makes this, basically just like a square, pretty much. Just it's all closed off. It doesn't go anywhere. Right in the center, this is the chimney. So the hallways wrap around the chimney here. So yeah, this area can't really be accessed normally, I don't think. There is a ladder here. But I don't think you're really meant to actually be in here. Although it does seem like people did come here before. There was like a radio here. And some stuff set up. I think there was a radio, right? Yeah, so there's a little sleeping area, but like normally I don't think you would really, people would have a reason to go up here. I just got the ventilation ducts here. More of those metal doors. Pretty bare light bulbs here, incandescent light bulbs. So yeah, very bare area. Just kind of another one of those kind of backspaces pretty much. And so with that, that's actually going to conclude my look at the hospital. I've basically covered everything that I wanted to. Just kind of one final sweep here. Okay. Yeah, so kind of a little better look at these areas over here. For some reason, when you're a little bit higher up above, you get to see these areas. The areas that are very dark, a little bit better. So just to give you an idea of what this looks like. So yeah, there you can see a staircase a little bit better. There's the library. You can see the doors there, the two doors. The door to the urology room. And then the neurology room. And then that area going back to the crematorium. So yeah, some blank spaces in between. And yeah, I've basically covered everything I want to for the hospital. Yeah, hospital ward there. And so yeah, like I said, that is going to conclude this section, the hospital. And so we've now finished with this corner of Mount Massive, which leaves us with the other corner of the complex, which is more areas for Whistleblower, which is of course going to be the drawing ground and the vocational blocks. And so I will see you there.